Thomas Edison was arguably one of the most influential people in all of history. He is variously credited with leading the transition from the age of steam to the age of electricity, inventing the 20th century and developing the modern research laboratory, a cornerstone of corporate structure. 70 years after his death, he still holds the record for the greater number of US patents ever awarded to an individual, 093. It's hard to imagine a world without his gifts of electric light, recorded music, and motion pictures. In Edison, we find a true rags-to-riches story of a poor, self-taught boy who grew up to be the greatest inventor of his or any other age. In this assembly program about Edison's life and work, students are presented with real-life lessons firsthand by one of America's favorite sons. The 4 big lessons of Edison. The life and inventions of Edison are presented in our presentation, but an even greater effort has been made to present 4 lessons from the inventor's life and work that the individual child can use over and over again. The value of hard work. Edison's most famous quote is, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." This comes from a man who was known to sleep an average of 4 hours a night, surviving on short cat naps throughout the day. He periodically worked for 72-hour stretches in order to perfect an invention. But unknown to most is his balancing ethic of playing hard. Edison employees were treated to impromptu sing-alongs, poetry contests, and satirical writing to help break the tension of difficult work sessions. Edison was a great prankster. Each of his laboratories was equipped with a pipe organ for sing-alongs. Is it chance his greatest inventions all focused on leisure? The value of mistakes. Edison contended there were no such things as mistakes as long as you learn from them. This has become a spirited chant in the presentation. The pressure placed on students to succeed often blinds them to what can be learned from the attempt, perhaps making them fearful of the attempt itself. As Edison said, "If I find 10,000 ways something won't work, I haven't failed." I am not discouraged, because every wrong attempt discarded is just one more step forward. Childhood is filled with mistakes. It's the child's duty to accept the responsibility of finding a lesson from the failings. The value of viewing a problem from a different angle. Many children are familiar with young Edisons being kicked out of school for asking too many questions. Education at the time was a matter of learning by rote. Anathema to a creative mind like Edison's. Luckily today, students are presented with different methods of achieving a task. Ref. Multiplication tables versus lattices. By looking at problems from a different angle, a child discovers the approach that parallels his talents. Another aspect of this lesson is Edison's ability to turn a liability into an asset. Historians acknowledge this as perhaps the secret to Edison's success. How could a man who was almost totally deaf perfect the phonograph? Edison found that by biting the sounding horn of his phonograph and listening through his jawbone, he could hear sound qualities undetectable to the human car, improving the quality of his recordings. Edison's resourcefulness made him a success. The value of enjoying one's work. Edison truly found his calling. He had found something that he loved to do, something he and the world found important, and something he could take pride in. A modem HR person would say something you love, something you're good at, and something they'll pay you for. Edison's work always evolved out of what he loved to do. He loved inventing. As he said, "I always invent to obtain money to go on inventing." From the age of 7 on, Edison always had a laboratory in which to experiment. His final patents were awarded posthumously because he was inventing until days before his death. Looking at all this from a different angle, if you're truly doing work you enjoy, the line between work and play blurs, and mistakes are just another part of the game. Life of Thomas Alva Edison. Point one of the most famous and prolific inventors of all time. Thomas Alva Edison exerted a tremendous influence on modern life, contributing inventions such as the incandescent light bulb, the phonograph, and the motion picture camera, as well as improving the telegraph and telephone. In his 84 years, he acquired an astounding 1.093 patents. Aside from being an inventor, Edison also managed to become a successful manufacturer and businessman, marketing his inventions to the public. A myriad of business liaisons, partnerships, and corporations filled Edison's life, and legal battles over various patents and corporations were continuous. The following is only a brief sketch of an enormously active and complex life full of projects often occurring simultaneously. Several excellent biographies are readily available in local libraries to those who wish to learn more about the particulars of his life and many business ventures. Edison's early years. Thomas A. Edison's forebears lived in New Jersey until their loyalty to the British Crown during the American Revolution drove them to Nova Scotia, Canada. From there, later generations relocated to Ontario and fought the Americans in the War of 1812. Edison's mother, Nancy Elliott, was originally from New York until her family moved to Vienna, Canada, where she met Sam Edison, Jr., whom she later married. When Sam became involved in an unsuccessful insurrection in Ontario in the 1830s, he was forced to flee to the United States, and in 1839 they made their home in Milan, Ohio. Thomas Alva Edison was born to Sam and Nancy on February 11, 1847, in Milan, Ohio. Known as Ul in his youth, Edison was the youngest of 7 children, 4 of whom survived to adulthood. Edison tended to be in poor health when young, to seek a better fortune. Sam Edison moved the family to Port Huron, Michigan, in 1854, where he worked in the lumber business. Thomas A. Edison, 1878 photo courtesy of U.S. Department of Interior, National Park Service, Edison National Historic Site.